Federal education law requires that states build systems for school accountability in order to, in part, provide additional support and intervention for low-performing schools. When the new federal law was passed, the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, we saw it as an opportunity to anchor our accountability work in the levers that we know make a difference, including not only traditional indicators like test scores, but also leading indicators like attendance and suspension rates, which give a more holistic view of school climate, culture, and performance. Rhode Island's school accountability system now includes broader measures of performance, which we'll get to in a later slide. Those measures are put through a rules-based engine to create star ratings. All measures, as well as additional data and information like SurveyWorks results, will be displayed publicly and transparently through report cards. And as has been the case in the past, our accountability system will be the vehicle through which we identify and support low-performing schools. In addition to the inclusion of new, broader performance indicators, star ratings will help us to communicate about school performance in a clear, more user-friendly way. The rules-based engine that gets us from the indicators to the star rating includes standards for every indicator. This is a shift away from composite index scores we used in the past, where points for all indicators were summed together, and therefore one could make up for another. This shift emphasizes our belief that all of the measures are important. Performance measures fit into three overarching categories: academic performance, student success, and college and career readiness. Academic performance includes not only performance on assessments, but also growth year over year. The student success measures are proxies for school climate, including suspension rates, and the percentage of students are performing at the highest levels. Rhode Island was also one of very few states to include both teacher and student absenteeism in our accountability system. For college and career readiness, we will measure graduation rate and what we are calling Diploma Plus, including credentials like CTE, advanced coursework, pathway endorsements, and the seal of biliteracy. This slide shares much more detail about each of our components and the actual tools we use for measuring those components. For our assessment indicators, data is averaged over 2 years, so that a single high or low performing cohort doesn't cause instability over time. As I mentioned, Rhode Island captures chronic absenteeism in our accountability plan. Paired with suspension rate, this gives us a general idea of the culture of a school. Typically, if schools experience high rates of absence and suspensions, there is a challenge within that school culture. We want school to be a place where students and teachers want to be, and we're rewarding schools who do that by including these measures. This slide tells you a little bit more about what we mean when we talk about college and career readiness. We want to prepare students not just to graduate, but to also have the skills and experiences necessary to be successful in the workforce. Our Diploma Plus measure identifies students who have seized challenging coursework and career education experiences. I also just want to note that the graduation rate is a composite of the 4, 5, and 6-year rates, weighted equally. We want to get all students to graduation. Schools should position those who don't make it across the stage in 4 years to succeed as well. After each indicator is calculated as an index or percentage, we use cut scores to translate that index or percentage to a number of points. The number of points per indicator was determined based on what could meaningfully differentiate schools, as well as our statewide goals. Some indicators span larger ranges, allowing for more differentiation than others. Additionally, we can only use indicators that meaningfully differentiate schools. If we were interested in an indicator, but was too similar across schools, we were not able to include it. Here, we summarize how the school accountability system works. To put it simply, we take the individual measures we've discussed, put them through a rules-based engine, relying on our rules chart rather than aggregating point totals, and then use those results to determine a school star rating, which is a consumer-driven way for families, the media, and the public to understand and differentiate school performance. Star ratings are higher levels of differentiation. ESSA requires a summative comparison of schools, and we would argue that differentiating at broad levels of star bands is more meaningful than a composite score. In this system, families can quickly identify the general performance of their school community. In order to get 5 stars, schools must excel on all measures. A 1-star school is determined either by low graduation rates or the combination of achievement and growth. Now let's walk you through the process. Here you see each of our performance measures displayed in columns, and our star levels in rows. Schools will receive a certain number of points in each column based on their performance. Note that some cells are merged. Vertically merged cells count in the highest row they cross. Horizontally merged cells for achievement and growth allow for higher performance in one area to make up for the other. We want to recognize schools struggling with achievement but showing growth, and vice versa. The subgroups column is a count of school subgroups performing at a 1-star level. This illustrates our commitment to equity. A high-performing school is a school where all students are supported. On this slide, you can see a sample of point distribution. We've circled the number of points this school earned in each column. The graduation rate is not applicable because this example is an elementary school. This table underscores an important value in our accountability system, which is that a school must address and prioritize all measures. A school's star rating is the first row where every indicator is at that level or above. Can you tell me what star rating this school earned? This is a 3-star school. Every measure is at the 3-star level or above. Under ESSA, we are required to identify the state's lowest performing schools. RIDE will identify schools in need of comprehensive support and improvement from the group of 1-star schools. To be identified as in need of comprehensive support and improvement, a school must demonstrate academic achievement and growth in the bottom 5% for both measures, a graduation rate of less than 67%, or low performance across all indicators. Subgroup performance is a particularly challenging measure for many schools. If a school has low-performing student subgroups, they may be identified for targeted support and improvement, or additional targeted support and improvement. 4 years of identification for additional targeted support and improvement will lead the school to be identified for comprehensive support and improvement. For all schools identified under the system of accountability, RIDE will make available supports and resources to help close achievement gaps and improve performance. This is just a sampling of the resources we will make available to these schools to help them exit identified status and better serve their students. That summarizes Rhode Island's system of school accountability. In the late fall of 2018, this system will be put into action with the first round of school and district report cards. RIDE staff is available to help LEAs navigate this process, understand school accountability, and ultimately improve and strengthen their school communities.